Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Katie cancels Bill's reunion. Is everything ruined by the house arrest scandal? According to previews for The Bold and the Beautiful, Katie Logan may alter her mind about her future with Bill Spencer. Fans of B&B are aware that although Bill worked hard to get back together with Katie, she ultimately was unable to do so. But Katie will always have some affection for Bill, and in the upcoming episodes, she might reconsider her position. What if Katie decides to take the chance after doing some more introspection? Katie may receive information about Bill's self-isolation and become concerned that she was involved. It's possible that Katie will realize she doesn't want to be alone and that Bill shouldn't be alone. It's simple to picture Katie visiting Bill and recommending that perhaps they ought to try again. Bill might find himself in a precarious situation if Katie even makes a suggestion about moving back in. What happens if Bill's longing to see Katie again materializes at the most inconvenient moment? Bill may have to decline Katie down because he is focused on concealing Luna Nozawa because of the entire house arrest issue. Bill might inform Katie that she was correct and suggest that perhaps they shouldn't pursue that love path once more, even though it would hurt to do so. By rejecting her and behaving as though he doesn't want to ruin their cordial situation, especially for Will Spencer's sake, Bill might surprise Katie. Something like that might make Katie skeptical and cause her to question whether she is hearing the whole picture. To put it another way, Bill's love rejection can cause Katie to become suspicious and investigate further to determine the cause. Additionally, Luna might make another noise while hiding and be immediately exposed by Katie. In any case, it would be intriguing if Katie unexpectedly proposed a reunion and put Bill in a challenging situation because of Luna's living situation. Is this how Katie will learn about the most recent Luna news? Stay tuned for more predictions on Katie's rage, as spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful indicate that she will undoubtedly lose it over Bill releasing Luna from prison. Steffi's breakdown, Finn's life blowing up, and Poppy's confession. According to spoilers for the upcoming 2 weeks of The Bold and the Beautiful, which run from January 27th to February 7th, Sheila Sharp will ruin Jack Finnegan and Poppy Nozawa's dinner at Il Giardino. Sheila seems like she would probe for information and disrupt a conversation. During the week of January 27th to 31st, will Sheila be able to listen in and gain some clues? Sheila might overhear Poppy mention John Finnegan's inability to know the truth. However, it's possible that Sheila heard Jack recount the entire paternity drama that transpired in Lee Finnegan's office. Sheila might be interested if she learns that Luna Nozawa's paternity is still unknown, even if Finn's name isn't mentioned. She'll inform Finn on the paternity test she coerced Jack into doing once she's back with Lee. That Lee at last reconciled with Poppy and acknowledged that Jack had never cheated on her with her sister should please Finn. Since Jack is no longer an option, Lee will undoubtedly bring up the subject of Luna's paternity again and inquire as to who her biological father is. Finn will contact Poppy and persuade her to visit his office shortly after, since he will appear worried about this conversation. Poppy will become uncomfortable when Finn questions her about her background as she is on the hot seat. Poppy will cry and query why Finn is questioning her, but he will assume she already knows the answer. If Finn did have a one-night stand or fling with Poppy all those years ago, he could remember it. Will Poppy ultimately reveal that he is Luna's father when Finn asks her if he is? Keep an eye out for all the Luna paternity shenanigans, because Finn is about to hear an insightful history that might shift the game. Ridge Forrester and Taylor Hayes can choose to do something unique for Finn and Steffi Forrester as Luna and Bill Spencer continue their private bonding. Steffi and Finn's anniversary, which is reportedly approaching owing to a soap opera rewrite, will be discussed. There is a strong reason to move Finn and Steffi's anniversary from August to the present, as it sounds like B&B wants a big celebration. Ridge will give Steffi and Daphne Rose a warning in the meanwhile. Ridge will urge Daphne and Steffi to refrain from acting too shadily, but they might still go too far in this scheme against Carter Walton and Hope Logan. When Daphne turns on the charm and puts in even more effort to divert Carter's focus from Hope, Steffi will be there to support her wholeheartedly. Luna's paternity controversy is expected to increase during the week of February 3rd to 7th. We brought up the potential chaos at the anniversary party. Would Steffi find out that Finn once got Poppy pregnant? Given that Finn is the father of the criminal who drugged Steffi and held her captive, Steffi might lose it. Finn and Steffi's marriage will undoubtedly suffer as a result of this Luna circumstance. If Poppy chooses to visit the jailhouse and tell Luna the truth, this could potentially jeopardize Bill's secret. Poppy might find out that Luna is no longer incarcerated and eventually find out that her daughter is under house arrest at Bill's estate. Stay tuned for more predictions on all the shocking news to come. According to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, the upcoming 2 weeks will offer some intense confrontations and unraveling mysteries. Steffi Forrester took great satisfaction in being a strong, resilient, and resolute woman. Her existence had been based on her strong sense of independence and her faith in familial devotion. However, everything she believed to be true fell apart like a delicate house of cards when she discovered that her husband, Finn, was Luna's biological father. In addition to being a betrayal of trust, Finn's admission was a seismic event that left her reeling and making her doubt the man she had created a life with. Everyone was wondering what Steffi would do at this point. No one had prepared for the emotional earthquake that was the shocking discovery. The results of Luna's paternity test revealed that Finn was her biological father, bringing everything that Finn had carefully hidden to the surface. Although Finn had acknowledged having a romantic involvement with Luna's mother, Poppy, when he was younger, he had not anticipated that relationship to continue into his current relationship with Steffi. And now that Luna, a vibrant and driven young lady, had unexpectedly become a part of their family dynamic, Steffi had to make choices that would affect both her marriage and her family's future. In the days that followed the disclosure, Steffi found it difficult to balance her feelings. She was aware, on the one hand, that Luna had existed before she and Finn were together. The secrecy, the falsehoods, and the violation of trust were what wounded her the most, not the fact that Finn had a child from his past. She felt caught off guard by Finn's lack of transparency regarding his relationship with Luna and Poppy. This was more than just a mistaken judgment, it was an outright assault on the openness and truthfulness that she felt were the foundation of their marriage. Steffi's feelings were unadulterated when she approached Finn. "Finn, how could you have kept that from me?" Her voice trembled with hurt and rage as she demanded. "You allowed Luna into our lives and our house without a word, even though you knew she was your daughter. How does that make me feel, do you know?" Finn's shoulders drooped as he cast a beseeching glance toward Steffi. With a guilty tone in his voice, he confessed, "I didn't know how to tell you. Steffi, I was attempting to keep you safe. I didn't want to upset our lives or create needless suffering. Before it reached this stage, I believed I could solve it on my own." "Keep me safe?" Steffi said it again, her voice rising in shock. "Finn, you didn't shield me. I was betrayed by you. Our marriage was betrayed by you. After this, how am I to trust you?" In the days that followed that altercation, Steffi and Finn were silent and apart. Steffi withdrew into herself, finding comfort in the reassuring arms of her kids, Hayes and Kelly. She couldn't help but consider how her family would be affected by this circumstance because she is a mother. When Kelly and Hayes finally found out that Luna was their half-sister, how would they respond? Would they experience the same perplexity and sense of betrayal that she did now? Steffi turned to her mother, Taylor, who had always supported her throughout difficult emotional moments, for guidance. Steffi opened up to Taylor over coffee in her cozy and welcoming living room, discussing her worries, annoyances, and fears. Steffi said, "Mom, I don't know what to do," her voice breaking under the intensity of her feelings. "Even though I adore Finn, this seems excessive. When it feels like the foundation of our marriage has been torn out from beneath me, how can I proceed?" Taylor put a reassuring hand on Steffi's shoulder while maintaining a hard yet kind expression. "I understand how stressful everything is for you right now, sweetie, and you have every right to feel wounded and upset. But you must ask yourself what your heart is telling you. What do you want? Do you think you can't get over this betrayal, or do you wish to fight for your marriage?" Steffi paused, her thoughts whirling with contradictory feelings. The weight of Finn's dishonesty was a big burden to bear, but she wanted to think that her love for him was strong enough to endure this storm. Finn, meanwhile, was struggling with his own feelings. He was determined to show Steffi that he loved her and his family unconditionally, even if he sincerely regretted the decisions he had taken. In addition to being open and truthful with Steffi going forward, he poured himself into making apologies by accepting his new role as Luna's father. He wished to prove to Steffi that he was capable of becoming the man she deserved and needed. However, Finn encountered opposition to his attempts to fix the harm. Steffi couldn't help but doubt his sincerity and motivations. She saw the man who had withheld such a huge secret from her every time she looked at him. The man who, without telling the whole truth, had let another woman and another child into their life. The scenario became even more complicated with Luna's appearance. Although Steffi had no animosity for Luna, she struggled to give her a complete embrace. Luna was a living, breathing reminder of Finn's history, which had taken Steffi by surprise and rocked her marriage to its core. Poppy, Luna's mother, appeared to have her own agenda, which further complicated things. Steffi was convinced that Poppy was using Luna to re-establish herself in Finn's sphere of influence, and her return to his life was anything from harmless. As Steffi vowed to defend her family from any threats, including Poppy's manipulative tendencies, her protective instincts went into overdrive. Steffi took the tough choice to request space from Finn in the midst of the confusion. She required time to go through her feelings and decide what she wanted for her family and herself. Finn grudgingly consented, although he felt anxiety at the prospect of being parted from Steffi and their kids. Steffi took advantage of this time to think back on her relationship with Finn and their shared affection. She reflected on the times that had characterized their marriage, the passion, the laughing, and the steadfast support they had given one another through the difficulties of life. She also considered the future she envisioned for her children, her family, and herself. Steffi realized that her relationship with Finn was not the only consideration in the decision she had to make. It concerned the type of example she wished to set for Hayes and Kelly. It was about instilling in them the value of forgiving others, resiliency, and the courage to stand up for what is right. The tension between Steffi and Finn was evident when they eventually sat down to discuss their future honestly. However, in the midst of the suffering and anguish, there was also a ray of hope, a reminder that their love for one another persisted in spite of everything. Steffi's voice was firm but emotional as she continued, "I won't lie to you, Finn. This will not be simple. I'm upset and saddened, and it will take some time for me to regain the trust that we once shared. However, I adore you and our family. And I'm willing to try if you're willing to work hard." Finn nodded, resolve and thankfulness shining in his eyes. "Steffi, I'll do whatever it takes. I swear to you that I will make up for this for the rest of my life." Steffi had a wave of relief as they embraced. She was prepared to tackle things one step at a time, even if the path ahead would be difficult. She and Finn would battle for the life and love they had created together, overcoming any challenges that stood in their way. The question of whether Shin could actually survive was still open for debate. However, one thing was for sure, Steffi and Finn would stop at nothing to find out. Does Jack reconcile with Lee or marries Poppy? Standing on the brink of two very different futures, Jack Finnegan felt the pull of each. Poppy, a colorful reminder of his wild and passionate past, was on one side. Lee, his estranged wife, was on the other, representing the stability, family, and hard-earned trust that had been destroyed when his secrets were first revealed. Jack had to make a decision about the type of man he wanted to be going ahead, not just about which lady he would spend the rest of his life with. His choice would have an impact on not only his own life but also the lives of those closest to him, and the stakes were higher than ever. Poppy's return has caused chaos in Jack's world. Her magnetic charm made it almost impossible for Jack to ignore her, and she was just as captivating as ever. Every time she was around, the intensity and intrigue of their shared past seemed to surface again. Jack was reminded of the carefree man he was before duty and secrecy weighted him down by Poppy, who had a way of making him feel alive. And the bond between Jack and Poppy was stronger than ever as it was shockingly revealed that their daughter Luna was still alive and thriving, playing a significant role in Finn's life. Poppy didn't hesitate to express her intentions. She desired Jack's return. She felt they were inextricably linked, and she wasn't scared to stand up for what she thought was rightfully theirs. A beautiful vision of their life together, full of laughter, adventures, and a second chance at their former love, had been portrayed by her. However, Lee and even Finn had soon detected the undercurrent of deception that lurked beneath Poppy's charm and charisma. Lee, however, had always been the picture of poise and elegance. Even though Jack's activities threatened to destroy her family, she had dedicated her life to creating a secure and loving household. Lee had suffered a terrible blow when Jack's lies and adultery were revealed. She had put her trust in him, formed a life with him, and supported him through their most difficult times. It was a hurt that had not yet completely healed to have that confidence violated. Lee didn't give up easy in spite of everything. Despite the bruises, her love for Jack had not completely faded. She secretly believed that if Jack was prepared to show that he had changed, their relationship was worth defending. Lee, however, had no intention of making things simple for him. She called for transparency, accountability, and a dedication to restoring the lost trust. She was battling not only for herself, but also for their family and the standard they wished to set for Finn and Luna. Jack found himself thinking back on the decisions that had led him to this moment as he negotiated the emotional minefield of his relationships with Poppy and Lee. He was unable to ignore the memory of their passionate relationship or the draw he felt toward Poppy. However, he was also unable to deny his profound remorse for the suffering he had inflicted on Lee and their family. Jack's decision was made even more difficult by Finn's response to the circumstance. The disclosure of Luna's paternity had revived old wounds for Finn, who had been severely wounded by Jack's betrayal. Torn between disappointment, rage, and a persistent wish to see his parents get back together, Finn found it difficult to reconcile his sentiments toward his father. As much as Finn wanted Jack to own up to his mistakes, he equally wanted to think that he could be saved. It was the drama that caught Luna in the center as well. Since she was Jack's biological daughter, she had a natural desire to see him content and happy. However, she was also fiercely loyal to Finn and Lee, who had embraced her into their lives. Given that her thoughts over Jack's future would surely affect his choice, Luna's viewpoint brought still another level of complication to the problem. The pivotal moment occurred during a sincere discussion between Jack and Lee. Away from the prying eyes and critical gazes of others who had witnessed their marriage fall apart, they gathered in a peaceful park. Jack opened up to Lee when they were sitting on a bench with a view of a calm lake. He told her how sorry he was for the hurt he had caused and how much he wanted to put things right. Jack said, "I know I've hurt you in ways I can't even begin to imagine," in an emotionally charged voice. "However, I must let you know that I adore you. I will always do so, and I always have. If you will give me another chance, I would like to restore what we had." Lee gave Jack a look that was both vulnerable and determined. "I've heard these phrases before, Jack. You've expressed regret, and I think it's sincere. However, words are no longer sufficient. I need to see action if we're going to proceed. To regain my trust, you must demonstrate that you are prepared to put in the necessary effort." Jack nodded, realizing the significance of what Lee had spoken. He was resolved to earn her forgiveness since he understood that deeds spoke louder than words. Rebuilding the trust and love that had escaped them for so long had been a cautious hope for Katie Logan, who had been on the verge of reconciliation with Bill Spencer. Bill, who had always been a resolute romantic with Katie, had been putting in extra effort to persuade her that he had changed. He vividly depicted a secure, contented family life with their son Will at its core. Katie really wanted to believe him. Her already precarious reunion was rocked by a shocking incident that broke out just as she was starting to welcome Bill back into her life. Katie's hopes for a new beginning were dashed by the controversy, which involved Bill's involvement in a well-publicized house arrest drama. Bill was placed under house arrest while authorities worked through the legal issue when it was revealed that he had been involved in a dubious business transaction. Despite Bill's strong denials of any misconduct, the situation's optics were unavoidable. It seemed to Katie like the past was being repeated. The stability of their family was once again under danger due to Bill's careless actions. At first, Katie felt a mixture of sadness and rage. She had given Bill numerous opportunities to demonstrate his ability to put their family before his ego and reckless endeavors. Nevertheless, he was involved in yet another incident that not only jeopardized his image but also clouded her life. The last thing Katie wanted was for Will to be exposed to more chaos after all the work she had put into creating a secure and drama-free environment for their kid. Katie could hardly look at Bill when he arrived at her door, trying desperately to explain and win her back. Katie's voice was shaking with emotion as she stated, "Bill, I can't do this anymore. This kind of stuff always occurs just when I believe we've turned a corner. I've supported you through a lot, but I need to consider Will and myself." Bill attempted to argue that he was innocent of any crime and that the home arrest situation was being exaggerated. With a frustrated tone, he argued, "Katie, this is a misunderstanding. I didn't break any laws. You are more familiar with me than this." Katie, however, wasn't persuaded. "Bill, that's the issue. I am aware of you," she said. "And I am aware that danger always seems to find you. I can't risk having my heart hurt again by putting it on the line. And I refuse to allow Will to grow up believing that this is the norm." There was a noticeable tension between them, and Bill understood for the first time that his customary charm and persuasive speech might not be sufficient to resolve this. With more determination than ever, Katie made it plain that they would not be getting back together, at least not for now. Katie had a mixture of relief and sadness as she practically and symbolically shut the door on Bill. Although she had hoped for a better result, she felt deep down that she had taken the right choice. Bill had to face the fact that his actions had actual repercussions, not only for his reputation but also for the relationships that were most important to him after he was left standing by himself on her doorway.